Hey, it's Van Strange Vlog, and I am exhausted today. Could not sleep last night. I used one of those, I have sleep apnea, and so I wear a breather, and I've worn this thing for years and years back in the day when they were more primitive, let's say. Last night it just wasn't on right, so I guess I snored. I must have snored a lot, and now I feel like I haven't slept in about a month. So anyway, welcome to the vlog. I don't know if probably a lot of you people may have sleep apnea or sleep disorders, and actually it's one of the, it can cause heart attacks, you can die because you can't get any air, and there's many operations that you can have, including one that a friend of mine I used to work with a long time ago had, where they go in and they actually cut out and like laser out all the inside of the back of your palate. And he had this done, and he had like his whole face packed with like cotton in his nose, and it took a month to get better. He had to take 2 weeks off work. He was just destroyed. I mean, they like cut the hell out of, I just didn't laugh, but I'm kind of delirious, but they cut the hell out of his face. And he healed up, got better, everything. Sleep apnea, exactly the same. So it's a weird thing, and my doctor told me that even though I use the breather, I've lost some weight and done everything you're supposed to do, he's just like, some people never all the way can stop using one of those breathers. Now there is this thing, and I can't remember the name of it. They put in these 2 sticks, like, what do they call it? Stint or something, or shunt? I don't even know, because thank God I haven't had to deal with any heart. It's similar to what they do in your heart when they stiffen your valves or your arteries, and they do that in your palate. And for some reason it doesn't, I guess you're like in the cartoons, the thing's flapping. That's basically, it makes it not flap. So, but I bet a lot of people out there suffer from this more than you would think. People just don't talk about it very much, because it's kind of weird. Like, you're wearing this stinking machine, you're like a cyborg every night. But they have made advances. They're pretty much silent now. They used to, like, my dad actually had one. And I remember my dad had sleep apnea before they really knew what it was. Or they did, but it was rare for doctors. And I remember Lanigan told my dad that he had heard about this guy in Yakima who was doing this sleep disorders thing. It was a new thing back in the 80s. And Mark gave my dad a heads up, because my dad had been taking like Black Beauty speed, pretty much prescribed by the doctor, because they thought he had narcolepsy, because my dad was a school principal, and apparently he was like conking out in their executive or whatever they call them meetings, I guess it's superintendent meetings, and he was principal of this big elementary school, which actually leads me to funny stories that I could tell about our band playing at the elementary school. And people in the community, some of the teachers, were convinced we were satanic. So, and this is the band, this is not Screaming Trees, but this is Him and Those Guys, a band that Pickerel and Lee and myself and our friend Dan Harper had. And actually I'll have to do one about that, because that whole band, that's my high school story of rock and roll. So when I was a senior was kind of when the Screaming Trees started forming more, because I started hanging out with Mark when I was a senior more often. And of course, the old story where we saw each other at a party. We hadn't seen each other for a couple years. We met in detention. School, we both had detention. I think I was a sophomore. And we started talking, and next thing you know, he's loaning me all his Stranglers records. And got me into the Stranglers. And I hooked him up with Lee. And those guys are, both of those guys are music record aficionado. They know like so much about, if those guys were ever on like Music Jeopardy or something, Mark and Lee would be the devastating team. Like Lee had thousands of records. My dad helped him build a gigantic cabinet to hold all his records. Like it took up a gigantic wall in the back of the video store. I remember it was just thousands of records, and he bought them all. You know, it wasn't like nowadays where you're downloading music. I mean, he went and investigated. We used to go on trips to Yakima and Seattle, and Seattle had all these record stores in the U District back then in the 80s. Like, it was just, and they were cheap, dirt cheap, because the bins were full of people bringing them in, college kids bringing in records to, you know, buy more records. And trading was really big, a lot of bartering, trading at record stores back then. That was a cool thing. And I know we just lost another record store in Seattle, supposedly due to the real estate prices of that location on Queen Anne Hill. Easy Street, Queen Anne location went down recently, and apparently it's because that piece of land that they were on is now worth like billions of dollars or some crazy thing. I don't know. Somebody probably is going to build a condo or like a Starbucks, even though there's like 20 in the neighborhood. But Easy Street there, where that location is, actually is right around the block from where Lee's apartment was, where we wrote Sweet Living and all that. So that apartment building right by Safeway, the fancy new Safeway with apartments above it. Anyway, it was quite a ramble this morning. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you later.